Okay, guys. I know that the tea about Beyoncé being Solange's mother and not her sister is old. And I know that many people have called it BS. But would you believe it if it came from someone who was in the inner circle? And I'm talking about Mama Tina's ex-husband and Beyoncé's ex-step, Richard Lawson. Allegedly, he's still been doing a lot of spilling on the secrets of the Knowles family after that messy divorce. And based on what I've heard, he's been allegedly fueling those rumors that Solange is Beyoncé's real daughter, baby. I went down that rabbit hole myself and boy, I wasn't prepared for my mind to be blown.
Women.
She was trained at the esteemed Berklee College of Music. Handpicked by my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington, Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington, who put together Beyoncé's entire female band, which was Matthew Knowles' idea because he couldn't get Beyoncé to stop people. Guess you didn't know your daughter well enough because she just started all the girls.
I personally find it very intriguing that the most interesting part of the Richard Lawson/Tina Knowles divorce settlement in 2024 wasn't the money. It was the gag order. Like, the court documents revealed a strict non-disclosure agreement and a non-disparagement clause that said Richard should never talk about the Knowles family. I mean, since he was married to Tina for a while, Richard was obviously privy to the real family tree. And if he saw the birth certificates, this NDA would be the only thing keeping that secret from becoming a Hollywood tell-all. So, did he try to use what he knew as leverage during the $300,000 settlement? Honestly, I don't know if it's true or not, but let me just break down what's already out there about Solange allegedly being BA's daughter, and you be the judge. First of all, someone who claimed to work for the Department of Health in Texas supposedly unearthed her birth certificate and claimed it has her birth date as 1974. And while I haven't seen this certificate myself, some people have also pointed out that Beyoncé went to the Michael Jackson Victory Tour in 1984, and it didn't look like she was 3 years old at the time. I mean, have you ever seen a 3-year-old at a stadium concert? However, if Beyoncé was actually 9 or 10 years old in 1984, that would put her birth year right at 1974. And that's about a time she would be fangirling over Michael Jackson. Apparently, those who were around back in the day say that there was a video of Beyoncé dancing before the tour. But that's just one of the things that was scrapped from the internet because it would prove they lied about her age. The theory goes that Team Beyoncé, which is known for being incredibly protective of her image, scrubbed the internet of this pre-fame footage. In fact, people call it the Knowles Vault effect. And we've seen them get photos removed from the internet before. Like, remember those unflattering Super Bowl pictures? They were scrapped from the internet. So, is it really that far-fetched to think they could make any footage or photo disappear if it threatened Beyoncé's ageless brand? Also, when it comes to this conspiracy theory, people often point to Gabrielle Union, who was born in 1972 and said in an interview that she and Beyoncé were friends as teenagers. In most worlds, a 19-year-old and a 10-year-old aren't exactly hanging out as peers. And if the official dates are true, when Gabrielle was 18, Beyoncé would have been only 9. Does it make sense for a college-aged woman to be best friends with a 4th grader? Or does it support the theory that BA was actually born in 1974, making them only 2 years apart? Did Gabrielle accidentally speak the truth because she knows Beyoncé as someone her own age? Well, the theory has always been that Beyoncé is older than they have made us believe, and all those photos she and her mom have been dropping over the years were doctored to erase the truth and discredit the allegation that she could be Solange's birth other. Honey, it also doesn't help that back in the early 2000s, a former employer at Columbia Records revealed that Solange Knowles is Beyoncé's biological daughter. This person claimed that during their time at the label, they heard it all. From Jay-Z's mother being a lesbian to Mariah Carey starting out as a call girl to meet Tommy Matta. They even alleged that Ben Vin is Usher's real father and that Janet Jackson and Oprah can't stand each other. And while this person said they couldn't verify any of these claims, the one they could actually verify was the one that Solange is in fact Beyoncé's daughter and not her sister. Apparently, this person knows this because they saw a driver's license on a manager's computer, confirming the 74 date. And according to the person, there's a 14-year age gap between Solange and Beyoncé, which would make it very plausible that she might have been the one who gave birth to Solange. Basically, if Beyoncé was actually a teenager in the mid-80s, the sister dynamic starts to look more like a cover-up for a teen pregnancy. Okay. The other thing that the source brought to my attention was the Girls' Time mystery. Y'all know that this was the band's name before they transitioned to Destiny's Child, and we all know that they participated in the Star Search days. So we also know the famous footage of Girls' Time losing the competition, which is usually dated around 1993. But the source points out a major flaw: Ed McMahon. They claim the show actually filmed their segment in the 80s, which would mean they took part in the competition earlier than they would love to admit. Even weirder, this source said that we should look at Nikki Taylor, who was in the group with BA and was born in 1975. And if the 1993 date is real, why would an 18-year-old Nikki be in a kid group with an 11-year-old Beyoncé? It doesn't quite add up, does it? Now, something interesting is that Nikki's Wikipedia page showing her age was removed. And people are saying that it's because the NLES are covering up their tracks because they know that this will circulate around the internet. And for those who are wondering why we are not talking about the ages of the other members, well, allegedly even the others had their ages twitched a little so they could all appear younger. And apparently this was something very common back in the day. Actually, for anyone who has watched Michael's recent biopic, there's a part he was told to say he is 8 years old, even though he was 10. This just goes to tell us that lying about a star's age was pretty common back in the day because it was good for business. In fact, allegedly, everyone except LaToya in the original DC had their ages rigged. Anywho, this source also claimed that the tea was confirmed by a cousin named Ong who was mad because at a family Christmas party, Beyoncé threw some shade at an. Then, in a fit of revenge, an allegedly spilled the beans to staff members, claiming that Solange is actually Beyoncé's biological daughter, and reportedly said that the family used to say Beyoncé had baby-bearing hips when she was so young as a code or a joke about Beyoncé's body shape being a result of that early pregnancy. You tell me, is it more believable that a cousin lied because of a Christmas party argument or that a global superstar has been living a double life since the 8S? Now, as far as who the father may be, rumor has it that it could be Beyoncé's ex, Lindell Lockcatch, who dated Bey when she was pretty young and supposedly looks a lot like Solange. Speaking of Lindell, by the way, he has always looked like the bitter ex, the desperate one, the one who fumbled the best thing that could have ever happened to him. But what if I told you that all this was calculated and that Beyoncé is the one who carefully orchestrated that narrative to make her look innocent? I mean, from her point of view, Lindell was the serial cheater and the one who first broke her heart when she was merely a good Christian on a celibacy journey. But we know that we've heard stories about how Bey was fast and how she was always messing around with both men and women, and rumors. And as far as motive, some people are of the opinion that Richard feels terrible for how he was portrayed in Tina's memoir. I mean, for a man who was a father figure to the family for nearly a decade, being reduced to a mistake or a footnote in a best-selling book can sting. And if Richard feels like his role in their lives is being erased or rewritten, he might feel less inclined to protect the sanctity of their secrets. Also, for those who noticed, the 2024 divorce settlement specifically bans him from discussing present or future grandchildren. Why such a specific language? According to some people, if the theory that Solange is Beyoncé's daughter is true, then Jules is technically Beyoncé's grandson. And by signing away his right to talk about the grandchildren, Richard effectively signed away his right to clarify the true lineage of the entire family. Honey, again, I don't know what has changed.